LSU takes their turn at SEC Football Media Days. We've got the day covered. It's Locked on LSU. Here we go.
You are Locked on LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, let's get it. It is Locked on LSU, your team every day. I'm your host, Matt Moscona. Thanks so much for making it your first listen. We are free, available wherever you get podcasts, of course, on YouTube as well. So please subscribe. As always, one of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving your comments below. So thank you sincerely for that. Day one of SEC Football Media Days in the books, and the LSU Tigers took their turn. It was LSU, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Ole Miss, the four teams that went on day one. And I often talk about SEC Football Media Days as a place where narratives for the season get made. A lot of times you go into media days with certain preconceived notions, but you get an opportunity, whereas, for example, I cover LSU every day. I know everything there is to know about this roster. I know surface level amounts of information about other schools. And the same is true about the rest of the media that covers the conference and college football about LSU. So coming into media days, I think people probably had an idea that LSU signed a nice portal class. They maybe are confident with Garrett Nussmeier coming back. They're aware that LSU's lost 5 straight openers. They open up against Clemson. Those are the types of surface level things people understand. What maybe they don't know is depth. For example, on the day that LSU goes at SEC Football Media Days, I will do more interviews than the rest of the week combined, meaning I will be on other people's shows. And as we talk through this transfer portal class, oftentimes I would ask some of my colleagues, okay, do you know who Mansour Delane is? Do you know who Josh Thompson is? Do you know who Braylon Moore is? Do you know who AJ Halsey is? And I got a bunch of Blake stares, because not many people know AJ Halsey because he was a safety last year at Houston. Now, he was an all Big 12 safety who led the country in interceptions, and now he's at LSU looking to fill a gaping void where LSU was very bad a year ago. I know that, you know that, but other people talking about this LSU team don't necessarily know that. That's why a week like this is so important for a lot of those narratives that start to happen. So that was a big part of day one of SEC Football Media Days, was getting the understanding of Garrett Nussmeier back for a 5th season, the leading returning passer in college football, and this number one portal class and how integral that is and is expected to be for LSU. You're going to hear in just a minute my one-on-one sit-downs with Garrett Nussmeier and Whit Weeks. Also had the opportunity to visit one-on-one with Brian Kelly and Chris Hilton. You'll hear those conversations in a future episode. So shout out to all of our everydayers. But one of the things with Brian Kelly that I thought was very interesting in my one-on-one with him, when I asked him about the intention behind this transfer portal class, his answer wasn't so much, as I phrased it, did he feel pressure to win now, why they went so heavy in the portal? And he pushed back on that and said the reason actually was because they had to build the culture first, meaning they didn't feel like they could add 18 transfers into the roster, significant pieces, until they had the locker room, the culture built to where they could bring anybody in and it wouldn't disrupt that culture that they had worked so hard to build. Now, there is some validity to what Brian Kelly said there, because yes, at the beginning of the Brian Kelly era, and sometimes we struggle to remember this, the culture was bad. At the end of Ogeron, it was bad. You had players leaving. Of course, they played a bowl game with 38 scholarship players. Brian Kelly, when he first got the LSU job, he came in, and one of the first things he did was he had guys filling out accountability cards, like what time they eat, did they work out, when they went to class, all that sort of stuff, because he was trying to set those expectations. And remember, last year, the big conversation was about Kelly and the success he's had in year 3 at places. So that was sort of the expectation a year ago. And so now thinking, because he's built that culture and that foundation, he could add anybody into the locker room and they'll have to conform because you have great leadership on this team. And while I believe that is certainly part of it, I also know that last year, Brian Kelly was adamant that they wanted to go into the portal to add defensive tackle help after spring football, and they couldn't afford it. And so he made the comment, we're not in the business of buying players. Well, this year, they were very much in the business of buying players. And the difference is they were able to afford it. I think what's so interesting is that on day one of SEC Football Media Days, you had two schools that are running that had been running opposite paths that are starting to converge in LSU and Ole Miss. Remember, Brian Kelly, his intention was always build through the high school ranks, supplement in the portal. Lane Kiffin has been known as the portal king, right? So now you have a situation where LSU fell short of expectations last year because they didn't have the talent. Ole Miss had gone heavy in the portal last year and fell short. Lane Kiffin at SEC Media Days acknowledged they're going to be under the revenue share cap this year at Ole Miss. So they're spending less. Brian Kelly and LSU, meanwhile, are spending more. So you're having these two that went opposite paths that are maybe starting to cross over into what the other was doing to try it a different way because the way they were doing it has fallen short. So maybe the truth about how to build a roster in this era lies somewhere in between, or maybe the way Lane Kiffin was doing it actually was right, where you do have to be heavy in the portal. You just have to be a better coach than Lane Kiffin was last year because there was no excuse for Ole Miss to lose to Kentucky, a game in Baton Rouge where LSU never led until the final score, and the game in Florida that Ole Miss lost where they had 3 red zone possessions, came away with no points because they went for it on 4th and short 3 times and kept getting stuffed. Kick field goals there, and you win, and you're in the college football playoff. It's fascinating, though, about how we get a glimpse into the way these rosters are being built and the makeup of these teams. And LSU is a team that, after their turn at Media Days and a greater understanding by a lot of this conference of what LSU did in the portal, what they have coming back, I think you're going to see a lot of people maybe being higher on LSU when you start to see some of those preseason predictions. A big part of that, of course, is fifth-year senior quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, who you'll hear our one-on-one sit-down with when we return on Locked On LSU, your team every day. We've all been there. Logging on early, waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. If you're tired of the endless scrolling to find the best deal, Gametime's Zone Deals picks get you the best seat in your section for you. And if you ever wonder what your view would actually look like, the app shows you a panoramic seat view, so there's no surprises. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Prepared to last?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I knew what to expect this year, at least a little bit, so a little bit more prepared. But
I mean, a double-breasted purple suit.
Yep.
Give me a fit check here, man.
Yep.
You went blue like standard, just navy last year.
Yeah. I had to switch it up a little bit this year. Got a little 2 inside.
Wait. Can we unbutton the?
Yeah, we can. It's gonna take me a minute. It's my first time wearing
No, I get it. And give a shout out. Who made it for you?
Pierce Spokesman made it.
Oh yeah, Pierce Bespoke. Great dudes, man. Look at this.
Go right there.
Check out Pierce Bespoke. Shout out to him. I mean, that's a clean look right there, man. What you got on the feet?
A little Alexander McQueen on the feet. There you go. Yes, sir.
All right. I tell you what, man, you came ready, dude. You came ready today.
I appreciate it.
Hey, there's a few things that I want to check the box. Some things we'll have to talk about. I'm sure that you've answered 1,000 times today. Why do you wear number 13? Have you told this story before?
Yeah. So, I mean, my dad wore 13 throughout high school, or not high school, actually. My dad was actually a safety. Didn't play quarterback till senior year of high school, fun fact, and then played at University of Idaho. And there he wore 13, and then for the Saints he wore 13. And so just my whole life it was just always 13. And 10 and 5 were the backup numbers because of those are my dad's quarterbacks. Jake Locker, AJ McCarron, and then Drew Stanton was 5. So if I couldn't wear 13, it was 10 or 5. So my freshman year, actually, I was 5.
Yeah, no, I remember.
So
and then you gave that to somebody else who did pretty well in that jersey.
Well, yeah. Well, everybody tried to say he stole it from me, which is not fair. I actually was just waiting on Jontre Kirkland to get out of here. You know what I mean? So
another great LSU quarterback, right?
No doubt. Yeah.
The final game of his career, he played quarterback.
That's right. And he wore 13. So he actually saved me for coming back that year, saved me from losing my shirt. So that was huge. So then I had to get 13 back. So
they changed the rule because of that.
Yeah, it's everybody's always talking about it. I'm like, dude, but y'all don't realize that's the Garrett Nussmeier rule, and I'm the one that got screwed over by it. Like they wouldn't make the change for me, but then they saw my case, probably were like, oh, he's probably right, and then they changed it the next year. That's unbelievable.
Did you? I don't remember this. Did you have to have a formal asking case?
Yeah, we went all the way to the wire. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to play I'd say a week and a half before the game actually. So I mean, I was practicing like I was going to play in the game, and then about a week and a half to 2 weeks before the game, they were like, "All right, no, definitely no." They denied the appeal and everything. So
this legit is the Garrett Nussmeier rule.
It literally.
I just saw Pavi a minute ago. There's the Diego Pavi rule for the JUCOs. This legit is the Garrett Nussmeier rule. Okay, I asked that because if they do ask you to wear 18, would you do it?
100%. I mean, I love 13. It means the world to me, but to be able to wear 18 at LSU, that's special. And it would be an honor. I would not be able to say no to that. So, obviously, I've always never thought about it as a way that I want to go ask for it or anything like that. I don't believe that I've earned that or anything of that sort. The coaches make that decision. And, if I was chosen and it was me to wear 18, then I would definitely wear that with a lot of pride.
Did Hester ask you that this morning, by the way?
He did not. Okay. He did not ask me. Yes, sir. Or he may have. I've been asked a bunch of questions.
No, we're at the end of your day.
Yeah,
you've been talking for 8, 12. You've been talking now for a solid 5 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.5.
It's been a ride.
So I get it if you don't remember everything you've said. I talk for 3 hours a day every day, and I don't remember what I said 10 minutes ago. So I get that point of it. That would be interesting, man. I'm also curious, being the fact that you're going in your second year as a starter, what I always said at Garrett was if you wanted to create a quarterback in central casting, it would look like you. Size, arm strength, moxie, intangible, son of a coach, all this stuff. Check. What you didn't have going into last year was experience. We have that now.
Yep.
The play that maybe if you look for the pivotal moment was the A&M, the first interception. If I said, all right, Garrett, you get in the time machine, you can go back into that moment, that third down play.
Yeah.
And you could do the play over, what would you do?
I probably would have ran, or I would have kept my eyes outside and taken the first down right there to Xavion. I've watched that play probably 1,000 times. Xavion broke back down the sideline to me. It would have been right there for the first down. And it goes back into what I've been trying to work on. People have asked me today so many times, what are you trying to work on? And obviously the turnovers is one of the main things people are going to bring up. And the thing is, there's a separation of turnovers, right? I'm an anticipation passer. I am a drop back passer. I'm going to throw interceptions. That is a part of the game. The problem is where I need to improve on were the interceptions that didn't need to happen. They were forced errors, just like that play against A&M, where I'm trying to make a play or I'm trying to do something outside of what I should be doing, And so plays like that, it also ties into what I've been working on so much about using my feet more. It's times where the play breaks down. I should just get back to the line of scrimmage. I should just go get 3 yards and slide. I should just maybe more, and instead I've tried to make throws or do things that I shouldn't be doing, and that's led to turnovers, and those are the ones that I've really tried to eliminate out of my game.
There was a play in spring where I guess it was a zone read, but it looked like it was a design run for you, and you ran for about 20 yards around right end, and Sloan looks at the media. He goes, y'all like that, huh? Kind of so it's pretty clear that that's an emphasis, right?
Absolutely.
Trying to get you more involved in the run game, and do they have design packages, or is it more just what you said, awareness?
Yeah, I'd say, we always kind of run plays that involve with maybe a defensive end read or a linebacker read that could cause me to run the ball. And I think you'll see more from me in the scrambling aspect. I don't know that I'm the type of quarterback that you design 20 runs for. You know what I mean? That's not really my game. But as I said, it leads into the floor of my game, which I've really been trying to raise, is leading into those turnovers and making those mistakes are times where I should have just taken off and run or just go get it when nothing's there. And I think because also that I didn't do enough of that last year, teams were able to play us in a way to where all they had to take away was the pass because they knew I wasn't going to run. They could bracket different guys and they won't even have a quarterback player, and so there are just so many ways that if I would have just taken that step of learning when and when not to just go get a couple yards, that teams would have had to play us totally different, which obviously opens up the field for guys who clearly we have so much speed now and so many guys that can make so many different plays. It would open up more for them.
Garrett Nussmeier is our guest. I asked Chris this earlier. This is a good problem to have, but there are so many guys. how do you distribute the football and get everybody their touches?
It's tough. I mean, when you have so many different players who are all so special in many different ways, it's hard. It's like you get a guy the ball and you're like, dang, okay, well now we got to get this guy the ball, or should we have given it to that guy? You know what I mean? It's so tough. But
do you think about that? I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you go through that in a game like, I need to get him a touch?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say necessarily as a quarterback. I'd say that's more on the scheme and what we're trying to do, and that's not my job. I try to keep myself focused on my job. And I think that'll come within the play calls and the different things that we're doing now. And the word that I keep using today is versatility. Is we are going to be so versatile and getting guys the ball in many different ways, allowing them to make plays. And as a quarterback, it goes back to kind of early on in my career as a freshman. I remember just learning how to be a better distributor of just doing my job and just giving the guy the ball. Just give a guy a chance to make a play, put the ball in his hands and allow him to do the rest, because that's what they're here for. And we have so many guys who are capable of that now. And so it's been an emphasis for me to just be a distributor, to be a general, to just get the ball in the guys' hands and allow them to go make the plays.
Chris Hilton a bit ago. I think y'all usually go eat steaks. Are you a steak guy?
Of course.
Okay, that's the right answer. What cut?
I love a ribeye.
Okay.
I love a ribeye.
That's what I'm talking about. What temperature?
Medium rare. Every time.
See, Chris,
every time.
Chris told me he wanted a filet medium well. I'm like, just order a hamburger, Chris.
Yeah, just order a tire.
I said, that's what I said, man, look, they're paying for it. Get a tomahawk ribeye medium well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, medium rare. Like, come on, man. Yeah. Do it right. Get the big bone on it and everything like that, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you've been asked 100 times, but for our audience, how you feeling after the injury?
Good. Really good. I mean, I feel like I'm back to myself, and I give all the credit to our training staff and strength staff. I mean, they spent countless hours with me this offseason, probably more than they would want to spend when I'm in there. Hey, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. And they really took a lot of time out of their days to spend with me. So I couldn't be more thankful for the staff that LSU has in the training room and in the strength in the weight room.
Yeah, man. Is that the first time you've been hurt in your career?
It is, yes.
Yeah. What's it like going through that?
I feel like it was a little different for me because it was the bowl game. So we were in the off season afterwards. So it wasn't like I was missing time. I missed 2 quarters of football, which obviously I wish I could have played. But it's a long journey. It is a long journey to get back. I wasn't walking for 7 weeks, almost 2 months. I was in a scooter, and it's tough. It's tough mentally, but I had a lot of good support around me. Harold Perkins, especially, he was, because he was still coming off of his ACL. So any day that I had in rehab where I would maybe be a little down, he's there. Hey, keep your head up. Like, we're going to get through this. We're going to be out there in August. Don't worry. Like, we're going to be back.
Did going through spring and watching instead of participating help, or how was it different?
I do think it helped. Getting to step back and watch from kind of a coach's point of view, seeing what Coach Baker's seeing what Coach Olson's seeing what Coach Whitty's seeing. I think that's really going to help me a lot, and just watching the offense thoroughly and picking up on formation tendencies. They line up tight in that 1 or 2 differences between this, if they're cut, what they're going to run. I think it really helped me to take a step back and really just learn more about the game of football.
Yeah, Whit Weeks is with us. Man, you dude, last year, I tell people this when I looked it up, and it's you had more tackles last year than Devin White did in his Butkus season. Do you know that?
Wow, I did not know that.
You had more tackles last year than Devin White in his Butkus season. Yeah. Like, you, team guy, I know, but you're individually going to be up for everything this year. Is that something that motivates you?
No. I think my motivation comes, this is a team sport. And that's why I love playing football, is I play for the man next to me. I play for the brotherhood. And our goal is to win the national championship, and that's my goal. The individual awards are great, but individual awards don't win you national championships.
It's interesting that you use the word brotherhood. How many times have you been asked about your brothers today?
Oh, yeah. A lot.
Like everybody?
Everybody, yeah.
So what's your, I'm sure you have the answer prepared to give. So what do you say?
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It is a blessing because we never thought that it would be possible to all 3 be here, with Zach leaving high school early and coming up here and playing with me in West. It's awesome. And I'm really I'm enjoying every single second that I get with them, because after this year, West is gone. So it's not going to be the 3 of us ever again for the rest of our lives. Yeah. Besides that, we get 1 more semester together.
So just saying that West would be gone after this year would maybe indicate that you plan to come back for a senior year.
Well, I haven't put any thought into that. There's too much focus on where my feet are right now, the team we have this season, and I could not be more excited for this season. So I haven't put any thought.
Sorry, the team this season is going to get a lot of hype. I think we'll leave here this week, and most people are going to pick Georgia and Bama and Texas, and then it'll be in that LSU will be in that conversation. By the way, we're never right here anyway. But the expectation for this team is to be a playoff team. Do you all when you're in team meetings, team room? What are those conversations like? I mean, I know Kelly keeps saying 1-0, Clemson 1-0, but are y'all talking national championship?
That's exactly what we're talking, because we know the team that we have this year, and we're confident in the guys that we're going to put out there on the field. I think we have the best roster in college football right now. From top to bottom, we have depth at every position, and dudes are working hard. That's the key behind it all. Is you can have all the talent in the world, but if the talent's not working hard, you're not going to win nothing. And every single day, everybody's in that weight room and on that field putting in countless hours of work, meaningful, intentional work, which I think that's going to be the reason that we're going to get over that hump and win the national championship this year, is how hard our talented guys are working.
Who are some of the talented guys, starting on the defensive side of the ball, that you think, based on what you've seen, are poised to have a really big year?
Well, obviously, I couldn't answer that question without saying Harold Perkins.
Let's go.
I mean, that dude works harder than anybody I've seen. So to see a guy like that who has all the talent in the world, the most athletic ability I've ever seen, sometimes you could get away with not working hard if you're him. But he works hard in everything that he does. He's so intentional about the way that he goes about his work. And it's awesome to see that, and that's why we're going to get over the hump this year. Is because we got guys like Perk, your best players, working harder than anybody else.
Now, you didn't get to play against the offense in the spring, but on the offensive side, what or who stood out on that offensive side today, or this spring?
This spring, oh gosh, the list goes on and on and on. But Nuss, obviously, one first and foremost. I think he's taken that next step as far as, what type of player he is. He's obviously a great player, but he's really taken a step in his leadership role and the way that men follow him. Like he's stepped up big time in that role, and that's really exciting to see.
With the new guys, that's probably the people that we're all curious to see how that's gonna start to manifest. Yeah. Who's some of the guys maybe in spring caught your eye, either side of the ball?
The one guy that comes to mind on defense, Deshaun Spears, freshman last year, coming into his sophomore year. That dude can ball. So that's one guy that I'll say he can. That dude will be a top NFL player one day. He has the size, the length, hard work ethic. That dude can ball.
Our conversations with Garrett Nussmeier and Whit Weeks from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. Also had a chance to visit, as we mentioned, with Chris Hilton. We'll play that interview in a later episode, just a little short on time here. But a couple of the big takeaways that I had from our conversations, Whit, of course, is just an incredible ball of energy and positivity. To go through the injury he did, to still see the positives through that and improve in spring while not being out there is incredible. How about that hat tip to Deshaun Spears as well? I mean, we've talked a lot here about A.J. Hulsey, about Tamarcus Cooley, the safety transfers. But Deshaun Spears came in as a 5-star, and we talked about him a lot last year. A guy who looks the part, came in looking the part, but and played a lot in that first month. But ultimately, with some of the growing pains, the coaches in the second half of the season decided just to go with the experience, and they went with guys like Sage Ryan and Jordan Gilbert back at safety and Major Burns at the star position, and they just went with experience. While Deshaun Spears certainly has that upside, it will be fascinating to see what happens at safety with the two transfers you brought in and so many talented young guys, how that battle wins out. Now, the Nussmeier interview, the part that obviously a highlight is him talking about the Texas A&M game, and if he could do it over, and saying that he watched that interception 1,000 times. You see, with Garrett, as I mentioned in the interview, all of the boxes are checked, going into last year, except the experience. Now you've checked that experience box. The question becomes now, having that experience, do you learn from it? Do you grow from it? Or do you continue to have some of the same shortcomings? And I say that probably unfairly because Garrett Nussmeier was outstanding. He threw for 4,000 yards last year. He's the leading returning passer in college football. And that was on an LSU team that was 104th in the country in rushing offense. They had no semblance of offensive balance. And Nuss shouldered such a gigantic load and still managed to play the way he did, throwing for more than 4,000 yards in that season. The question is now, having had that experience on the road at Texas A&M where he made that ill-fated throw, you look into this coming season and go, okay, that situation's going to happen again. There's going to be a 3rd and short on the road at Clemson where Nuss is rolling to his left. So what does he do? Does he go to the wide of the field to get Xavion coming back? Does he run for the first down? Does he get out of bounds? Or does he try to force something? His point was good. He is he's a guy that, because of the way he plays, is going to throw interceptions. It's going to happen. It's part of the game. What he has to eliminate are the needless interceptions. Sometimes you're going to throw an interception when you're trying to make a play. What you can't have are the careless interceptions like we saw against A&M. He said that point blank. Now, the only thing is, will we see that growth from him actually on the field when the lights are the brightest and it's time to go make those plays? Boy, it's going to be a really special season for the Tigers. So day one at SEC Football Media Days, LSU took their turn, but we've got plenty still to talk about throughout this week at SEC Football Media Days, and we're thrilled to be here covering all 16 teams in the conference and how it may impact playing LSU in this 2025 season where there's tremendous expectation. We'll get the full preseason all-conference team in order to finish at the end of the week. All right, that'll do it for us here on today's episode of Locked On LSU. Thanks for making us your first listen. For your second listen, go check out The Portal on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. If you're on podcast, please subscribe. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video, and let a friend know if they love the Tigers. We got you every day for Locked On LSU, your team every day.